Hello everybody, I'm super excited to be here. I can't even imagine how important this panel is for me. My name is Beata Lipska, I'm developer advocate at TezDev, but that's it about me. Maybe you can introduce yourselves, my lovely people.
Hi, GM everyone. My name is Leen. I'm on the product things at Rarible, which is an NFT marketplace, an NFT company. Been in this space for a couple of years. Feels like 10. I'm pretty sure a lot of us relate to that. And I'll pass it off to Tom.
Thomas, I'm co-founder and CTO at World of Women. I've been in tech for like the last 15 years, maybe, in the Web3 for the last 4 years now. And I think my first relationship to Web3 or crypto was mining Bitcoin in 2011, but thinking it would be worthless. So I stopped. That's it. I was super wrong.
Right. So, hi, I'm Taher. I'm VP of Product at World of Women. I'm in tech space for more than 20 years now, and Web3 for 4 years. And actually, now I remember that, when I moved to Berlin 10 years ago, everyone was like, yeah, you can buy pizza with Bitcoin here. You know, like you can go to Späti and get some beer. Like there's some places where you can, pay with crypto. I was like, yeah, I definitely need to try it. And then, I missed it out. Should have bought pizza with Bitcoin.
I bought a beer in Bitcoin, I remember. Yeah, that was fun and painful, but now I look back at it, like it was an exciting time.
We all have our stories about how to get into crypto, how we got here. But I shared the story a couple of days with you about my Coco Chanel my introduction to Coco Chanel life, because we had a wedding anniversary and my wife took me to Coco Chanel boutique from obvious reasons, and trust me, I'm the last person to wear pearls and perfumes like No. 5 and everything, but it was very interesting. I was so inspired because gentleman over there, he said he was generally like talking about her life, the way she was thinking. And apparently she was thinking ahead, but not like 1 year, 5 years. She was thinking 100 years ahead. And probably the fact that I'm wearing trousers and blazer is because of Coco Chanel. And I was such an ignorant. And I, straight away, when we came back, I wanted to watch the BBC documentary. And she was compared to Steve Jobs. And now, like the way she was operating, how inspiring she was, but she also built a community around her. And the fact that, many years after, the legend is still alive, and the products and the fact that I'm wearing trousers is still there, because it was her way of thinking. And apparently, blockchain is the right tool. Now we have different tools to make, let's say, the legend live forever, yeah? So tell me, how do you see yourself in 5 years, in 10 years, and how blockchain and Web3 technology can help to build a new way of living?
Right. I think one thing that you shared with me just over lunch, what was interesting, is about also Coco Chanel being a community builder. Like you said, she was spraying around her perfume, and then people wanted to smell like her and be like her. So it is community building through, perfume and smells. And now we're building community through, technology. And it's not a new thing. That's one important part. I was part of online digital community in 1998, and we even had IRL meetings. So when people now say, oh, because of NFTs, blockchain and everything, we're now meeting IRL. I'm like, it's like first time ever in the history. No, I did it in 1998. That was that long ago. But it's really the technology that unites very different people, like diverse people, like people that share common interests. Before it would be, you have school, you have classmates, you have university. It's a little bit more like, oh, you chose this path and people around you are the same. Then you have, certain circles of friends. Now it's just much easier to connect with people who are similar to you. In many different ways, and blockchain makes it, in certain ways, easier. Well, there's provenance, authenticity to it, and continuation even beyond our lives, which is interesting, because I'm like, well, people will know, if they ever care about it, that I was friends with someone, because I followed them on, Lens or somewhere else, and it's all on-chain data, because, our data will outlive us.
On a different note, sorry, Taisia, for not jumping, for not bouncing on this one. But I think we're at a time where we are building that technology that is going to bring a lot of things, right? We are seeing many things coming. We are seeing AI. We are seeing humanity, proof of ownership, provenance. We are seeing censorship resistance. We are seeing how to keep how to not lose the value of your money. So we are seeing many different micro and macro trends that could be solved or helped with blockchain. And so these days, it's super interesting to see that there are so many blockchain tech, and this year at ECC and today at TezDev, I was thinking, okay, you can really see the leap in terms of tech, the boom that happened this last just 12 months in terms of scalability, and how this technology is going to be used everywhere without even knowing that you are using blockchain. And that's also what Arthur shared this morning. It's how can you have this tech that's going to solve so many problems, but you don't even know you are using blockchain. And to me, that's the 100 years vision, is really, okay, our grandchildren will not know really what is a blockchain. They will just know that data is immutable, stored somewhere, resistant to censorship, resistant to a ton of things, thanks to this. Yeah.
I love what you mentioned with how users won't necessarily need to know the technical behind it. So we all probably flew in here. I don't think a lot of us know how a plane actually works unless we went through some lovely aerospace backgrounds. But I think, yeah, the industry, like you mentioned, in 10, 15 years, it's going to be more about what are the actual use cases and how can we solve the problems that a lot of us probably in the space right now, a lot of us probably faced issues in Web 2. To me, it was banking when I first learned about crypto back in the day, where I was like, oh, wow, we can remove the bank and kind of have a way to transfer money, keep money ownership, especially coming from a Middle Eastern background where the banks are not the safest, quote unquote, for money. So yeah, I'm excited to see where it will head, where it will be actual use cases, but the technicality can be behind the scenes, simpler UI, user experiences, and whatnot.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think, getting that inspiration and influencing people here and now is also very important. So tell me maybe about here and now, what you do, what are the concrete formations, what are the communities that you are influencing?
I just want to say, all of you have heard this, blockchain is a technology in search of a use case. I think we all here, that's what we're doing, we're creating use cases around it. We're creating also culture around it. And I think what is important about WOW, because you might know us as iconic NFT collection, Madonna, Reese Witherspoon, other celebrities, bought our NFTs. But what we actually do is, what is important is the mission. We build an inclusive future through building inclusive culture, which is really important. I think that would be a bit long, but Web3 is inclusive by nature, by its design. First, there's pseudonymity, which I loved when I joined. I'm you can be whoever. It doesn't matter. You have your on-chain contributions, and that's what matters. You can be any gender, any race. No one's going to judge you and discriminate based on it, or you're not going to be a diversity token. How often, women are introduced to panels because, we need a woman. Oh gosh, no, I don't want to be a diversity token either. So that's one thing. And second is meritocracy, right? Where on-chain data helps you to see all these contributions, and you're known for that. However, as you can see, diversity is not there yet, although it's diverse by nature. Only 7% of founders in Web3 are women. That's not enough. And our goal and what we do, and actually, beyond, trading NFTs, is actually bring in those women leaders so they can shape this future together. We don't have the same mistakes that we did in the past, where the world was not designed with women and diverse people in mind.
I think we both attended the SheFi Summit a couple of days ago, and it was very nice to see the community that was built with a lot of builders in the space that are women. For me, when I went down the rabbit hole of NFTs, it was this world of women PFP actually is what was very dear to my heart because it was the first time I could resonate to a picture where I wanted it to represent me in the space. But the community that was built through it was actually incredible, and I think it's a superpower we have in this space. Yeah.
So tell me more about Patio, the hub that you're creating. So is it a secret? It's not a secret. Tell me more.
You could.
Yeah, so we started building Patio a year ago. It's a product that gather our community. So if you own a WoW or a WoG, you go on Patio and you can see who are other community members, but you can also see where they are and what they did. So each community member has a profile and you can see their on-chain achievements. So Taisia was mentioning credentials and what you did on-chain. That's exactly that. So you can see your POAPs, your NFTs, if you have badges in the community, if you go to events and so on and so on. And our goal is, in the end, is to put some face on top of a wallet address, because anonymity is great, or pseudo-anonymity, but when you are in a community and you want to resonate or vibe with other people, it's also great to have a face or to know the on-chain history of someone. And so that's what we are building with Patio. And so far we have 1,000 active members from our community. So it's actually pretty insane to think that, okay, we were in the NFT craze of 2021, but we still have 1,000 vibrant people going on Patio regularly to check other people. Maybe Leen, you want to say something about Patio? Dropping the ball, sorry.
Hello. So from a Patio user here,
Exactly.
I think a big part of, especially the people that onboarded during the NFT craze, it was communities that kept us in the space, where you started meeting a lot of people around the world that were actually very interested in what you're interested in as well. I remember my friends thought I was bananas at the time, and they're like, stop talking about whatever it is you're doing. What's this on-chain thing you're talking about? But I actually ended up meeting a lot of very close friends of mine through Twitter, through Discord, and I think Patio was the evolution of that, where it's more... it kind of cultivated that community on-chain for World of Women.
Yeah, I think I can add, because I came really from pseudonymous type of background into it, and also on-chain data, anonymity and so on. So when we created Patio, it was mainly Web3 data, like POAPs and other things, what you own, where you have been, but only on-chain data. And then we sprinkled on top, Web2 data, kind of, self-attestation, what are your interests, where are you from, job title, company title. And we really were testing out, will people even share that? Because a lot of people said, well, obviously this community will never share their location. And it's not your street or anything, but 40% of people share their location, country level or city level, their job titles. And this is where we found out that our community is full of builders, lots of founders, lots of people who own Web3 marketing agencies, event agencies, and so on. That was such an interesting new piece of data for us, because we get to know our community better beyond what we have known so far from on-chain data or some events, but not all people can attend our events. So that was really also important for us to get to know our community better and themselves within each other. Because you can follow each other, explore, soon DM, and there are more plans to it.
So it sounds like that sense of belonging is very important in terms of building the communities and the passion for the technology as well. So Etherlink, I hope I won't be cut again. Technology. So we're passionate about technology, and technology is the tool. So why Etherlink? Why do you think it's quite important in your community?
That's related to what I shared earlier. I think the most important thing for us now is, now that we're entering the next step. So far, Patio was mostly about reading on-chain data. And now we want to move forward by also providing more opportunities to people in our community, and mostly on-chain opportunities. And to do this, we want to have a fast, secure cheap.
And nearly free, yeah.
Nearly free, exactly. I don't have all the marketing terms yet. Nearly free blockchain to use and that our users could use. And Etherlink for us, it's a way to provide like the best-in-class UX on top of what we are building on Pasio.
Yeah, I can add it's really moving from community to economy. And it's economy where people actually can transact between themselves, because yeah, it's like currently, okay, you read on-chain data, you follow each other, but there is no transaction between people. So this is what Etherlink will enable us to do, and to create this kind of token-compatible economy where people can, interact through those means. And I think it's also important that, and we mentioned it in our things, that our NFT collection stays on Ethereum, but all the transactions will be on Etherlink. So we're entering this really kind of multi-chain setup within Pasio as well.
I think the journey, is it working? Are we good? We're back, alive, nice. If we look at it from an NFT marketplace, maybe journey, Rarible started, OG back in the day, I think most of the people I talked to minted maybe their first NFT at Rarible. It's been OG since back in the day. But just seeing where the industry is heading, whether it's multi-chain infrastructure, onboarding, we've become a lot more than just a marketplace. We have been powering infrastructure across a lot of different multi-chains, Web2 brands, consumer products, and it's just seeing the evolution, I would say, of the industry from maybe layer 1s to layer 2s and where we're heading. I think a big part of it, multi-chain, is the future, especially being here at ECC and seeing what all the builders are building, all the dApps, I think we're at a point where we're very, very siloed, maybe, in terms of ecosystems. In a way, multi-chain will be able to get us to connect them all through a lot of bridges.
Yeah, and I think composability was always a big thing, right? Part of the Web3 ethos, basically. And this is where I feel like also comes to play. Being part of it, TezDev's ecosystem brings us opportunity to work with other partners within this ecosystem, plug in their services into our community hub, work potentially with Rarible as well. So it will get easier and easier to do that.
Okay, so the future is bright, the future is multi-chain, but let's go back to the end users, because of course art is important vertical for all of us here, and I think it's also a question of mass adoption for the artists that are already there, and they not really willing to put their art on chain. And but there are people that want to collect their art. How can we kind of invite those people to start building creating their art and share it on chain?
Okay. A personal story, but my wife is an artist, and in 2020, when I learned about NFTs, I told her and her friends, check NFTs. It's super interesting. Like many digital artists are finally able to find a market, and I saw it as a technological way of selling art, opening a new market for them. But the way the artists perceived it was not really a threat, but they started super fast receiving a tons of DMs on Instagram, Twitter, email, saying, hey, you can make money selling your art on NFTs and so on, which was, most of the time probably scams. So I think the first important thing is going to be to, fight against this kind of behavior, just to give back freedom to artists and freedom to sell, and there is this big freedom to transact on blockchain. I think that's the first point. Is really okay. There is this big market. You have a way of really proving provenance and ownership now, so you can sell art. But don't trust the first people on Instagram telling you that you are going to be rich like people, because it's not going to happen soon. The second thing I believe, and that's why Etherlink is super interesting, is the cost to mint an art piece. And I mean, Tezos has a really vibrant art community. I've been collecting on Tezos a lot. I love FXH, what they are doing. It's really amazing. And these are the kind of initiatives and being part of a community of other digital artists that is going to bring more and more artists, I think. And the way we all, sorry, it's a bit long, but the way we are also supporting artists at World of Women, we feel like, okay, for women entering crypto, just going to crypto market and checking all the crypto might be a little bit abstract if you are not fan of crypto. While art is resonating to most people, right? You see a picture, you like it, you don't like it, you have emotions around it. And for us, it has always been the first way to onboard more people in our community was, okay, we are curating artists, and we are going to show you what you can have in this blockchain world that is not only finance, it's also art. So it's also the work of everyone in the industry to not think only about a new token, but also thinking about, okay, putting artists at the forefront.
Okay. You reminded me, I think the second anyone follows on Instagram, anything to do with Web3, your DMs are flooded with scams everywhere. I love what you mentioned. I think it's a couple points. One is creating maybe inclusive communities to onboard artists, to give them whether it's the education, the tools, the funding to get there. Step two is creating the tools for that. And like you mentioned, the gas, like low gas costs back in the day was quite expensive for an artist to deploy a piece of art if they're experimenting. And that's why we noticed lazy minting back in the day was doing quite well, where it was at no cost for the artist.
I'm a builder. So actually, when I started and I was saying, hey, I'm in Web3 to people, and they're like, oh, you're minting NFTs. I'm like, no, hell no, like I'm not doing that stuff. But I actually had an artist, NFT artist, a friend of mine. She was starting as a digital artist, and NFTs were her opportunity. And she was selling on Foundation and Super Rare and like 10 ETH and other things. So I could see how it impacted her, and that's why I actually started to appreciate this. Because I have a close friend and she's really into this community, and she was telling me things about the community vibe that is actually very close to broader Web3 space. It was all about, also being part of community and sharing. Like someone like, okay, you collected someone's NFT and then they sold somewhere and then they give you like, 1 ETH just because like you're one of their early collectors. I'm like, wow, this is so great. Like the community is actually supportive of each other. But yeah, like I think a lot changed. There was a DeFi wave, there was an NFT wave. Now it's like, gaming and meme coins wave. Then there will be another wave. And it's also always technology, getting new use cases and new adoption and new waves of those. And then it's an interesting challenge about getting all these people together in one space and understand that, we share all the same space. Or maybe they never really recognize it, but those are all kind of a bit silent things, but connected with one technology.
So it feels like, I'm thinking now that humanity is thriving. It's thriving with culture, it's thriving with those all sorts things based on emotions that you mentioned as well. And I think when we put our new tools, new ways of surviving and giving that legacy to new generations, what would you leave for your grandchildren on chain? And I didn't put that question in the email, so now we don't have time to think. You just say straight away. What would you leave for your grandchildren on chain forever?
First, my WoW that you can see here. What would I leave on chain? Yeah, I think probably the first thing I would do is my my NFT. It just, to me, a WoW is not only a PFP, but it also kind of a political statement. Just saying, okay, I'm choosing to use a WoW, to represent a WoW as my digital identity, because I believe in these values, and I want to share these values. And yeah, my NFT is the best way to do it.
Yeah, I agree. It's really about, as I mentioned, again, like I started doing it because of decentralized reputation, right? I wanted that kind of continuity of this. And I know like my own chain transactions show certain values, beliefs, and things that I support. If I donate it to certain causes, that might not some countries be happy about those kind of donations, it will be there. Like I did this, and it's forever. Like I'm gone, my grandkids will know it. It's not just NFT collections or obviously like crypto that I hopefully can leave and they hopefully get keys and so on. Like it is hard, right, to pass it all on, but it will be also the political statements, my values in the context of the current world.
I have no clue. I've been thinking about recently I've been talking a lot with my grandma, and I realized that I don't know a lot about her. I don't know a lot about my grandfather. I don't know much about what they've gone through, where they lived in their lives, across like the trips and whatnot. And she started showing me these. Do you guys remember the old school photo books? And she would slowly kind of show me her journey throughout life. So I think POAPs, I was thinking through POAPs, and I would love to share basically a journey or a glimpse of the crazy world we live in and the crazy experiences we've done. And I think we can easily document this on chain, and it would be so fun to share. And it could be shared anywhere in the world, not physical. It won't take a lot of space, like my grandma and her bookshelves of like huge collections of photographs and whatnot.
Yes, like 1,000 POAPs, look where I have been, like so. And also DAO votes, right? Like, I mean, DAOs like are controversially, like some of them work, some of them don't, but like your DAO votes is a statement. POAPs is really where you have been, what kind of people you vibed with, like a lot of people collected POAPs throughout this week. I was like, even entering any kind of space, I'm like, okay, where's the POAP station here? That's the first thing I need to do before I get a drink or, get introduced to people. So that was a big thing, it's really like, I've been there. It's a stamp, and it helps for people to afterwards decode who I am. Like, we can actually see it, sorry for long answer, but we can see it on Patio, because sometimes, anonymously and so on, we can see like, like we don't know who they are, but we see how people browse. And you can see like people look at POAPs, like all the time. Like they really like, it's like 20 minutes just like going from one POAP to another of a person to figure out who they are. Like, okay, what kind of crowd are they with? What kind of events are they visiting? Are they like me or not? And we also have this thing, you can find people like who have same POAPs like you, same interests. And some POAPs for me is almost the same thing.
Okay, so we are humans, we are collectors of moments, and now we can collect them also on chain and leave them forever. It was a real pleasure to have you, and I'm collecting this moment in my memory, and yeah, I think it was a great to talk to you and meet you in person. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.